Bro, I don't get it. I do not understand why this thing just keeps shutting down over and over and over. I don't get it. I will definitely solve these problems very, very soon. I'm sorry about that, guys. But if you're not watching this live, once again, I'm going to try to let some people trickle in. We'll do it a little quicker, maybe skip ahead just a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll get started on what things we're paying attention to over here. I did see some of those comments from the last one. If you want to repost your comments from the last stream so I can see them in chat. I know that the stream did shut down. We've had connection issues. This is why live video took a stop back in the day as well. This is one of those reasons. Thank you guys for liking and stuff like that. I appreciate it. But make sure if you posted a question or something like that, just repost it in the chat real quick so I can see it once we actually get chatting here. I'm sorry. Just be expecting this to crash pretty much because I don't know why it's so bad. I'm not losing connection or anything, but just be prepared. I'm going to try to get the information out there pretty quickly. Let me go over to the chat. Let me see if I can. It's already saying something. There we go. So I can check on the stream health and all that stuff. It says excellent. Okay, so we should be pretty good. All right, we're going to wait about 1 more minute here and we'll get into some topics. Took that bounce on the daily lower move early this morning. Awesome. Nice. Okay, so yeah, we can utilize the daily expected move as potential support. Yo, what up, guys? Hey, good morning. We did already have a stream disconnect. You guys know my connection issues right now are annoying. That will stop when we bring back the live video in the summer. We will have a totally different system here being used by me. And I'm probably going to just build my computer this summer. I'm going to finally do it. I've been traveling around because my family, we've been bouncing back and forth. We were going to move to Florida, then we got pregnant, so we came back for family, and then we came back here. I've been using laptops for a long time, and I'm just kind of tired of the connection issues and things like that. It seems like they're kind of bouncing back and forth. Now, so here's the thing. I see people bouncing back and forth like direct talks, not direct talks, and things like that. Let's talk about this for a moment. Let's really, I mean, I'm going to focus on the signals, but we can talk about that for a moment. Trump putting out a post like that, if you didn't see the post already, maybe I could pull that up. Yeah, right here. So Trump pulling this up, I'm pleased to report the United States of America and the country of Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution. I was joking on Twitter this morning. I was like, I said full resolution. Trump said total resolution. We were so close. But this is something we were talking about of our hostilities in the Middle East based on the tenor and the tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversation. It's so hard to read all caps sometimes, which will continue throughout the week. I feel like he's shouting at us. I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions. Thank you for your attention on this matter. So this is your first cookie. This is your first cookie that there could be a resolution. This is not a solidified resolution as of right now. At least that's how I'm reading into it. I'm wondering how you guys are reading into it. That's how I see it for now. It looks pretty important. I did see someone telling me something interesting. I need to read through the entire email, but tell me something interesting about, Iran's power with oil and things like that. I will read through that email. All right, let's get into it. Llama Mama, welcome. Llama Mama, the OG. Let's go. I will go over stuff right now. Let's start getting into it. Okay, guys. So, the big thing is when you see a gap up here and it's almost 2%, I think for IWM, you're looking at over 2%, almost 3% as of right now. One, you have to acknowledge something. You got a surprise. Where did that surprise happen? Outside of a monthly move. You can say that's coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe that nothing is a coincidence. I don't believe in the word random. I believe that that is just a word that we made up. Coincidence is a word that we made up in order to explain something we don't fully understand. If you fully could understand this, right, if you understood the market 100%, I don't even say that I understand the market 100% ever. I think that you can't understand the market 100% because you're a human being. But this right here, if you could understand the market 100%, then you'd just make money all the time, right? You'd be able to catch these kinds of moves. So I don't think that this is a coincidence, is the overall statement that I'm making here. Now, that being said, what was my analysis over the weekend? Does that change? Well, second thing we acknowledge for the day is the daily expected second standard deviation is there. You are outside of this daily move, so 68% chance to land down, but we did get some surprising news. If that surprising news is able to hold, then we can potentially today make our way to that 665.26. If we can hold for the entire week and see a squeeze out of this from those oversold conditions below the monthly expected move, where we should not be dabbling, really shouldn't be dabbling really in like, hey, I want to start a put position here because there's everything pointing towards you have no edge there, wait for a bounce. That would be a good thing, because if we can hold on to all of this, we can head all the way up to 692.16. Now that we know critical levels, this is your 95% zone. If you want an explanation of that, this right here is a 68% zone for the day. This is your 95% zone for the day. If you head up to that very quickly, 95% of the time you will close back into that area. And you notice that weekly expected move is above us as well. Same thing can be said about the weekly expected move. If we see a mega squeeze up to here and everyone gets bullish, watch out, because usually you'll pull down into these areas. You will most likely get an opportunity to get into this if this is really going to be a turnaround. So now let's get into what we talked about over the weekend. What does this move say so far to us about going to new all-time highs? Nothing. As of right now, you get no information that you can go to a new all-time high. What does this move tell us about a right shoulder, a daily lower high that rolls us down, and we actually see a plummet potentially down to even the annual expected move of 567 over the next couple of months? This tells you nothing, right? This doesn't tell you anything about the right shoulder yet. What does this tell you about the bearish roll? How we could potentially, like we talked about over the weekend, right? Bearish roll, we head down. Do we plummet through the floor over here? Do we set up a divergence over here? Those situations. What does this move tell you right now? Overall, not a lot. It really doesn't. The second move is what we're paying attention to for the most part. IWM, kind of a different story. It actually has some good divergences and things like that. I totally understand IWM suggesting, hey, we can go make that right shoulder, or we can head to an all-time high. That's what those signals suggest. We'll see if they fail. But this move right now tells you what? It doesn't tell you a lot. What moves do tell you something? Well, if we would climb up to this type of area and then reject and turn down, what does that tell you? That tells you we are very likely to make a lower low. We are very likely to see another bearish roll, just like we did in multiple times over here. 1 right here, 2 right here, 3 right here, right? Same thing. 4 could be right on this area, right? So we're going to watch this very carefully on the way up. Now, what would be said if we take out this level, but we stop short for the week? Maybe we kind of do this, we climb up to this area, right, by Friday, and then next week you see us pull down, and then we're able to curl up again. Well, that's still just beating this level tells us we still need to watch for that right shoulder. But if we can see a strong enough squeeze where we actually end up at that weekly second standard deviation, well, then we're actually taking out the critical level. The critical level sitting right about right here. Let's not have that in purple though. Let's clean that up for just a moment. We'll put it in white. We'll just put it in white for now. So we don't beat this high. Watch out for a roll. Right? Anywhere below that, we watch for a roll. You take this out, hey, we're still, yes, we can fully from doing this. If you remain bullish, if you can keep curling up in positive territory, you can go to a new all-time high, but around that area, we'll look for at this 683 area, some kind of right shoulder. We will be going into more information about this. But what's the better way to recover in this market? What is the way that is very much so when you see it, you go, hey, if we get a pullback here and confirm to the upside, we're very likely going to a new all-time high. That would be once you start to take out this level right here of 683.61. I keep saying 684. So if you can see a mega squeeze like this, and then you pull back down into those areas, you're now playing with this kind of look, right? You're playing with this. And if you get a confirmation over here, that's the one you're looking for to send you to a new all-time high. So we're going to discuss that as well, using a little bit different terminology here, using a few different pieces of our skill. Notice there's no moving averages up. I just want to do this utilizing our monthly, weekly, daily expected moves and second standard deviations. So when we're getting to this, we can really see this very simply, right? Left, head, right shoulder. So if we're going to go to a new all-time high, take this out, really try to negate a lot of that right shoulder narrative and head to the upside. That would be very, very nice. So as of right now, I just want to mark off this block, right? I'll mark off the lows, I'll mark off the highs. I'm putting it in green because if we get through it, it's a good thing. But as of right now, technically it should be red because it is some form of resistance. This means that this is at first going to be resistance. You see how support turns into resistance. Support, 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 all throughout this bottom area. Support, support, support. We break it, we see the roll. Okay? Same thing could be said the other way. If we do this, that's going to look pretty bad. But if we can do this, that's going to look pretty good to break out of this zone, right? That's how we have to treat it as of right now. Can we get through the resistance that has been really created in that area? And this little box right down in here is going to be very, very important. So paying attention to that's a good thing. But overall, what does this say about what we analyzed over the weekend? We're still going to utilize everything we talked about over the weekend here. Just because Trump makes some kind of post does not tell you there's a full resolution. The other thing is, just because Trump says there's a full resolution doesn't mean you can't make a right shoulder, doesn't mean he can't taco it, doesn't mean he can't lie about it, doesn't mean something else bad can't come along the way, right? So overall, still in this area, with the information we have in the narratives now changing, I'm still going to utilize technical analysis. I'm still going to utilize price action. I'm still going to utilize support and resistance. I'm still going to utilize my monthly and weekly and daily expected moves. I'm going to do exactly what I was planning throughout this. But I'm going to watch it knowing that Trump has put a little cookie out there for people that might be a surprise. That's why you see the dotted lines on your screen this week compared to other weeks. Does that make a lot of, I just want to make sure, because I don't have some education degree or anything like that. I just try to communicate these things. I have a business administration degree. I am not saying that I'm the best teacher in the world. I try my best. I literally think about this every time I make a video. I'm like, I try my best to speak about these things so everyone can understand it. That's not saying, oh, I'm so smart, or that's saying I know that I haven't worked in specifically education. So I want to make sure that this information is getting across well. I try to think about that in every single video. So I do hope that this information helps you out in some way. The other thing that we just kind of glossed over was the monthly expected move. And once again, I'm sorry if the stream does crash. I keep checking on the health of it and stuff. It says it's good. 4 seconds left, please. Use a key frame frequency 4 seconds or less. Current key frames are not being sent often enough, which can cause buffering. I hope you guys aren't buffering out there or anything. I'm sorry if the stream does crash, though. This is what's going to be fixed for the live shows this summer when we do bring them fully back. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm just saying, Lucifer. I'm just saying I try my best because education isn't necessarily something I studied or something like that. But I just try my best to explain things how I understand them, and I just hope that that ends up being helpful for you. That's about it. The monthly expected move. This is a great example here. Today's gap up is going to be a great example of why we pay attention to monthly expected moves and the decision making that happens there, right? Being bearish right here at a low, oversold on the RSI, dramatically down on this MACD. It's exactly what they want. It's exactly what market makers and whoever makes money off the stock market that has more money than you, it's exactly what those people want. They want you placing big bearish bets at the most bearish look when you're about to see some kind of bounce. I appreciate that the stream's good. I'm just going to say that a few times, so if I go away, you guys know. Tune into YouTube tonight or or look over on Patreon if I make a post. But we overall got the overall message out there. The overall message here was, hey, from this area, we talked about decisions below the monthly expected move. We're at a low, we're oversold, we're below the monthly expected move. It's a bad time to make those decisions. Now, that being said, remember in the video we said you can be right, but it's a bad habit. And a lot of trading comes down to your habits. Trust me, I spent years getting out of certain bad habits, right? And really, something that helped me stop those bad habits almost completely were weekly and monthly expected moves. Okay. That's why I shout them out all the time. That's why we talk about them all the time. That's why we talk about divergence by them all the time. We talk about decision making there all the time. It's because this is something that annoyingly I say constantly all the time about monthly moves. But it's the annoying thing that changed my trade and just completely made me a better trader was just these simple lines. And these lines have data behind them, which is nice. Mega squeeze incoming in 90 seconds. All right, we'll see it. I bet you that if you see a mega squeeze, it gets to about 665.26, and then those market makers start to look for some kind of little at least 5-minute grab for liquidity. Did you hit it in pre? Yeah, we hit it. Look at that. Look at that. Look, second standard deviation with the surprise, right? Second standard deviation means there's a little surprise going on. What happens? We pull down from it. Now, the fact that we pulled down from it, where are we remaining? We're remaining directly on the daily expected move. So when you cross through the 68% line, right, you can use that as support to potentially go a little bit higher. Now, we'll see if that's going to take place, but I just wanted to see that reaction. You see that 95% line coming into some importance there. Very nice. We just hit more daily expected moves or weekly expected moves. Technically, based on the fact that weekly expected moves include normally 5 days and daily expected moves are every single day, you would suggest that just based on the amount of frequency, the daily expected moves are tagged more often. Now, the better statistic for daily, weekly, and monthly expected moves is the 75%. So 75% of the time, any expected move, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, 75% of the time, you will tag one side, right? That's the percentage. That's the probability. So if we see that, say we bottom here, right? Take that information into consideration because we had a couple months where we did not tag the monthly expected move. So what did we say coming into this month? You're very likely to tag the monthly expected move. Now that's everything's, if you studied statistics, you understand why that's kind of a bad statement. If you use the flipping a coin analogy, everything is mutually exclusive. Every day is its own, but that's the better statistic is 75% of the time on the daily expected move, you can tag it one of the sides. 75% time for the week, you're likely to tag it. 75% of the time for the month, you're likely to tag it. I did see a question here that I wanted to talk about while the stream's still going. Hopefully it doesn't shut down on us. How do you find the expected move? Any indicators? So you calculate them using and I'm going to put a video for this out on Patreon. I'm going to put a video for this on Patreon that you can utilize. It'll probably come out once I have the new place. We have a lot going on. Life's always going on when you have 2 kids. But once I move, I'm going to put out a video of how I created my spreadsheet and how to calculate your own weekly, monthly, and daily expected moves. All you need, you can go look up the calculation right now. You can literally do what I did, do your research on it, and test it for a long time. So I tested mine for a while to find out, hey, which implied volatility works the best, because you can get different readings on different platforms. Hey, how good is Thinkorswim's automatic weekly expected moves? Well, those are off a lot of the time, not by too much. You can literally go to Thinkorswim and I think they give you the weekly expected move, but it's off. It's just not exact. I wanted my calculations to be more exact. Sometimes the Thinkorswim would say like I would calculate it to be here, and Thinkorswim would say it's like right here. That's kind of a big difference when that happened, like 666. That's actually a bigger difference than you think, right? You can make a decision at 666. Whereas if you have the level of 670.36, you could say hold on to something a little bit longer and then make that extra money with that extra 4 points. That's why I like to shout that out. And people have come into my stream during live shows and said, "Hey, I use Thinkorswim. Your levels do react better." That makes total sense because I'm doing the hard calculation based on research that I personally have done. It's anecdotal, so you have to take that into consideration. But I have looked at each platform, a lot of platforms, to see their implied volatilities, and I've tested them. And I use, weirdly enough, I use Yahoo or Robinhood. Those are the two that I found are very good. There's also the timing of it. So there's a lot that I can explain it of how I figured it out over time, how to make the best ranges. But I'm just going to put out a video telling you exactly how to do it on Patreon once we get into the new place in about a month or two from now. I'll be putting that video out on Patreon, and you can just make your own spreadsheet. But you can try to do it, Loki. You can. I would suggest not utilizing the first time you try to do it yourself, but just watching that week and seeing how the market behaves around those levels. So we have opened up the 30-minute chart here, seeing a pretty good boom. The 30-minute chart at least would like to take back this level. In the pre-market, you did see a spike up to the 95% line. We do have the availability to use it as support. Now we have to question, for a big move to the upside, if this is a legitimate surprise, if this is a legitimate resolution in some way. Let me do this real quick. If this is a legitimate resolution in some way, well, then we'll have to consider a few things here. Can the daily expected move be used as support? You want to consider, do we need liquidity for this kind of move? So there's a lot of things that go on here. Nice. Let's go check on IWM because that one's pretty interesting as well. Nice move to the upside. Once again, pre-market, you went up to that daily expected move. Second standard deviation. Oops for IWM. IWM 250.84, 250 right here. Actually, this move right here took you directly to the weekly expected move for IWM, which is 253.31. So your weekly expected move right around this area. You can get those levels over on Patreon if you'd like them. It's right around 253. I'll give it to you for today. That being said, I like to tag things in the regular trading hours. That's when I like to really look at them. But IWM has those reversal signals suggesting we can get a daily move to the upside. What we're going to do is do our job, watch the 2-hour chart, make sure that we're able to hold price. If we're not able to hold price before we take back 683, I would say 684, then we'll seriously consider the right shoulder, the lower high on the daily scale. I got it. Thanks for the TED Talk. Yeah. Oh, God. You guys remember my live rant. I like to rant, man. VIX, the interesting thing for VIX was coming down to 20 and then just spiking off of it. I thought that was interesting. If the 30-minute curls up here, we can still see a new low. 2-hour did confirm down, though, with the potential divergence on just the RSI and made new low. Very good. This is what the bulls want to see. It's just how strong can this be? I would love to build an indicator for weekly expected moves and things like that for people to just download onto their charts. But the problem with that is you have to update it every week anyway. So even if I built an indicator, which I'm not smart enough to do that, I'd have to get my brother on that. He's a software engineer. But in order to do that, you'd still have to update the info or find a way to update the info, and you'd have to like refresh it or update it every single day if you want daily moves, every single week if you want weekly moves, every single month if you want monthly moves. So that'd be difficult. I don't know anyone that's really pulled that off, actually, because it's literally one of the most slept on things in all of like trading and all of analysis is just weekly expected moves. Pretty crazy. No, I see. It's hard to see. It's really hard to see. The daily expected move, if you didn't notice, is right here. Now, what I'm putting out there, Marcus, is the second standard deviation right here. So 665.26 is another level you can do, but this move right there is what you're looking at for the day. 656.91. It's hard to read. So now we'll see if we can hold that price, hold it as support. But remember this, if we don't take out this high with this move, be prepared to, look at this, we left a gap behind, right? Be prepared if we do this. Be prepared if we do this. But if this curls down in any fashion, it says test the low, make a new one, is very, very likely. But we did leave a gap behind, so we're still paying attention to that. Everything that you watched in the YouTube videos over the weekend, actually, if you need a refresher, if you want a full video refresher on this today, if you have a little bit of time, go watch the Saturday video again, the one that the thumbnail that says 1, 2, 3 on it. That's probably the best video to watch again here, and that doesn't change because of the price action we're seeing. Three-wave correction on gold. Yeah, let's look at GLD. I know it's GLD. We can go into futures in a moment. No, wait a second. No, that might be lower high. That's lower high. So this means weekly pullback at the least. And because this was so news driven, because this was so parabolic in some way, right? Pretty parabolic. You want to be aware if you start to just see a lower high, right? But you would really say, hey, if we can hold these levels in here, not even, I would say hold these levels in here. I would like to just hold this line right here, honestly, but that means we can weekly move to the upside. This is kind of the probably daily lower high scenario for the SPY, maybe if gold reacts this way. But if this is going to break down, because it's parabolic, you have to be aware that this can just break down, and then we can start to see stuff like this. You do have daily reversals that suggest you're in weekly pullback mode. That's what you would normally say here. It's just a pretty parabolic move. Parabolic moves can really like die off very quickly. Like they can go up and up and up, and you just keep seeing those up, and then they just waterfall effect to the downside. So this right here, all we know about GLD is the daily chart was suggesting we would go into a weekly pullback. The weekly is now pulling back. That's all you know. Oh, of course, Vin Profit. Yeah, I have another about 20 minutes or so. I'll try to go a little longer if I can, but I have about 20 minutes. Hopefully the stream lasts that long. It's been crashing a lot lately. It crashed this morning. Like 50 of you guys were here, and it crashed this morning. I don't know why, but it's been terrible at this place. I don't know what happened. At first, we were streaming from here. It was good. Everything was nice. And it just started to crash all the time. And then my wife started to have a terrible pregnancy. So that's what just made me go, you know what? We just got to take it away for a little bit. But yeah, that's how I see it with gold. You can look at futures, probably futures and things like that. Same scenario here, right? Daily, you could look for daily reactions, right? If we see good things from the 4 hour, look at this. So are you ready for a daily bounce for gold? If that's your question, you have no information that suggests that that's going to happen. You have no information, no hint from the 4 hour chart here in the futures. What you'd want to see is what you saw over here. You'd want to see something like this, right? You see a big spike, you're able to carve out that higher low, and now you're in a positive trend. You can start to head to that upside a little bit, right? You don't see that now. We don't see this, right? Or you can do this and roll, and then you don't see a divergence. So you don't see divergence, you don't see a higher low. So you have no hint here from the 4 hour chart that you're going to like curl up on the daily right this second. But you are extremely oversold here. So it makes sense why you're bringing it up. And you can see this now. Slight little divergence building very deep into negative territory for both those. So even the 2 hours saying like, hey, we could do this, and then we could reject down. So the 2 hour, if it's going to tell you a 4 hour move's coming, you could do something like this, see if it fails. And then you would start to look for like this over here. It may take some time. You're in weekly pullback mode, so it makes sense to take some time. Let's go see that SPY real quick. Nice move so far. As far as that goes, I like to put this chart on my other ones, but that's all right. What else we got out there? Marcus, hopefully you got, oh, you said okay, thanks. What up, Jonna? How you doing? Will you be utilizing the Fed's money printer? They pumping again? What's the money supply looking like now? Shut the fuck up and pay attention. Not that serious. I mean, it can be that serious. I'm a pretty chill guy. Mega squeeze. Mega squeeze would take you past this level. That's the mega squeeze in my book. So this is how you say, hey, yeah, we have full resolution. We're good. Right? This is where you say, hey, we're going to maybe uptrend for a little bit, but watch out for a right shoulder. Right? And then this says, hey, we're not done with the selling. Right? Pretty simple. This says we're not done with the selling. We'll watch out for higher lows and divergence at that point because you'll be below the monthly expected move. Still setting up a trap probably. Yeah, but that's how I see the market at this point. Everything we talked about in Saturday's video. Once again, the thumbnail says 1, 2, 3. It's just a couple of videos ago. I would go check it out. That's where we like go into it for like 20 minutes straight. But in this position right now, the bears are still in control. That's very important, right? The bulls haven't even taken enough control for a right shoulder or a big daily move. The bears are still in control until you at least take back 674, 73, 675. The bulls really say, hey, we're in control if they take back 684 in my book. Went all in on puts Friday. Oh shit! And all in on calls at 6:45 at 6:45 at 3:30. Yeah, that's what's up. Yo, Vogie, that's what's up. That's great. That's fantastic. That's the higher percentage thing, right, Bogey? You understand that, hey, we could have crashed, right? You do crash sometimes from oversold positions. Some of the worst crashes have happened from oversold areas. Outside of monthly moves is where you see crazy stuff, but the higher percentages you see something like this, right? So that's great. I'm glad that you're saying that was helpful. That's fantastic. Are we still with Trump and his MAGA still real? I don't really care. I don't really care. I care about, what do we say? I care about God, family, and friends. That's what I care about now. My mental has changed completely on like life in general, but I won't get into that. You guys know me. I'll get into a rant and I'll talk for like 20 minutes about life. Is your method, and then you did a video about it. I've been watching for 6 months your structure daily moves week. Hey, that's fantastic, Bogey. That's right. You know, we have those courses, but I always say this to people out there who are worried about buying a course and things like that. You know, I've talked to people who just say, yeah, I just watched about 100 videos and I was able to put it together fully. And I'm like, that's fantastic, right? It's just but I always say the course though is like, hey, if you're still a little confused about things, if you, you know, you just want the information just just thrown at you, like everything. Hey, here it is on a platter. Now you have it. You can watch it 10 times and then get good at it. But if you have a good mind for like learning on YouTube and stuff like that, that's why this channel's here. So even if you wanted to, you could just show up every day, watch the video, like the video, take some notes, write some stuff down, focus on some issues you're having, try to clean up those issues and utilize this information. That's all it is. Bought the course too. Yeah, I think it clears it up pretty good. Yeah, Bogey, I think it's like since you watched for 6 months, the course is good, right? It's still going to clarify. It's still going to hard line everything. That's great. Hey, that's great, Bogey. I appreciate you saying how things have changed for you, and we're excited for you, brother. Right? We celebrate people who maybe have been trading for a little while. They make those really bad mistakes. I'm not saying you do, but I have before, plenty of times, of course. That's the big thing, though. Top Jab, the psyche part is pretty huge. Like my mental in the past, like if like imagine this. Just imagine this for a second. Let's see. Oh shoot! I just deleted the daily expected. Just imagine this for a second. Let's do this. All right. Imagine you just don't have that data point. Imagine that's just not on your screen. Like you never had it. Wouldn't you be like, oh man, we're going to plummet through the floor? Wouldn't you be like, oh, we're definitely going to continue here? There's no way we see a resolution. There's no signals. There's no nothing. Wouldn't that really hurt you a little bit? Or does that little line right there potentially keep you from making a bad decision? That's the coolest part. That's the coolest part. Like it's so simple, it's so nice, and it doesn't work every time. You're going to crash at some point, right? But most I would say this, right? According to the charts, you would say, hey, 68% of the time, no, right? You thought this was a crash, right? You probably thought this was a crash. You thought this was the great reset. If you go back to our videos, what did we say? We saw a divergence here. We saw the big move from the 2 hour here that went pretty positive, I think, right? And then it curled down, and we said scenario number one was our 2 hour higher low. 2 hour higher low happens, you're very likely to try to take back this zone. What did we do? We took back that zone. It's fantastic. And we haven't revisited that zone, so we will revisit this area. Just so we're clear here, you will come down to here eventually. You will. You will get there. I think you'll get there. It's just, do we do it right now? Right? Because remember, this line right here might get tagged. Maybe this one, right? The weekly chart saying we can just continue. But during the big crash scenario, that's not formed here, by the way. There's no crash signals on the weekly, just so you're aware. But just remember that if this corrects still with the information we have, remember that this point down here had an annual expected move there and a monthly expected move at the time. That's why monthly expected moves are great. But this kept you from saying, hey, we're going to great reset. This is the annual expected move. I highly suggest you put it on your charts because last year we went down to the lower annual expected move. Then we went up to the upward yearly annual expected move. We tagged both last year. Pretty cool. These things can really help you out. Yeah, we can look at it real quick, Jonna. Hold on. It's hard to play unless you know where out of bounds is. That's kind of facts, right? That's kind of facts. Which ones did you want to look at? We can look at them real quick. Palantir. Palantir was nice for a bit there. Nice for a bit there, but man, this is the best part about like seeing things, right? Like seeing things from a looking back perspective. You see, you broke through critical levels. What did that do? That sent you into negative territory where, yeah, we were able to build back into positive, right? But then you rolled on the daily. This might actually be a good example of what you look for from the SPY. Something like this. Because if you look here, right here, it showed you the 2 hour divergence. Do you see that? Yeah, it took a couple of flows, right? You got this little moment right here. Hey, that kind of went like this. You went for the extra push. You always act like it can extra push, but look how significant that got. This is kind of what we'll look for from the SPY. We'll look for something like this. Because if we see that, then that's very likely to be right shoulder. But that's what tore it down. Is when you do what? You flush. That's why we're going to watch it very carefully for the SPY. What do I think about it right now? We're rejecting off. We're trying to head higher. The 2 hours in a positive trend. The 2 hours been just going sideways, sideways, sideways. You wouldn't really count this as lower, higher divergence or anything like that. And you would just say, hey, the 2 hour crosses up here. We can test these levels. We can go make a new one. I have a weekly expected move prepared. That's it. You're looking for a 2 hour swing to a weekly expected move. That's the overall look here. And then the other one was Intel. right? INTC. Intel 2-hour chart, trying to make cheeky divergence. These are very tight. These are risky to play. I like my divergences to be like down here, right? I like them to be down there. I like it to be a trap. If it's a trap, then you got oversold. You convince people to be bearish, all that. Now, the good part here is you have the 2-hour divergence that says, hey, we can rotate the daily down. So this is very simple here. The daily's curled down. That's risky. I think the easier thing to say here is, hey, if the daily gets a nice move like this, we can start to maybe take care of that gap, right? If the daily can cross up, then over the next couple of months, maybe we do this. And then you can see if that's able to hold another positive trend. A break. So this is the critical level now. If you want to mark that off, that right there. You start to lose that, bad things start to happen. It's pretty simple there. Bad things start to happen. You lose that. Weekly, did you get a weekly full pullback yet? Yeah, you're still in weekly pullback mode. So you want to be prepared because they got tested actually. You could end up seeing something like this, but we'll see if daily is able to hold trend. Yeah, because this used to be the important level. If you'd have done this, you see how we could go much lower with earnings or something. But as of right now, you've dictated a new low. So if you dictate a new low, you just mark that off and you say, okay, we're not looking at this until this breaks. All right. So if the daily confirms up here, then you would say, okay, we're going to potentially go fill that gap. It'd be like a daily swing trade. You got to do all your same homework, right? These things fail. If you're not paying attention to both sides, if you're not paying attention to the failure of your trade, then you're going to be behind. You're going to see a bad confirmation for your trade. You're not going to react. And then that's where you really start to lose money. That's why you'll see in the internet, at least people who I trust, who I respect, they will say the phrase a lot of the time. And you've probably heard this if you've read books and things like trading books. Cut your losses early. Traders who can understand that a trade is going wrong early and cut that, they might lose 10, 20% in a trade. But if they're managing position size and they're managing the trade properly, meaning they know how it could fail and what looks bad, that's overall great behavior of a trader. Even if I think with a 99% certainty that a move is going to happen, I'm still going to have my plan for if it goes wrong. If you're losing audio and things like that, remember that the stream's been really finicky lately. I can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's ready test and gold touch 4K. Yeah, you go with the Justin Timberlake indicator. We've got another I'll try to do about 10 more minutes here, guys. And then I'll have to go help with baby girl. We're sending our baby to the chiropractor today. I've never done that, but they suggested we take her to the chiropractor because she's been a little rough. Let's go look at fun stuff. Can we look at fun stuff for 10 minutes? Come on now. What the heck is AGQ? I don't know tickers, man. Oh, silver. Pro shell, let's say, is this 3x? Is this leveraged? Oh gosh. Well, let's just look at silver. Let's just do this. Oh gosh, yeah. See, remember when we talked about gold? It happened to silver. If you see like, so the only time that you can really start, you still want to pay attention to continuation. Like I think it was fine to say like, hey, we can go take care of this. We can go make a new high. I think that's perfectly fine. But once that fails, you have to treat it as failure because when you see these things go super parabolic, this happens with stocks. If you want to, you GME people out there, anything like that. Once you go too parabolic, there's always the chance that that's just a top, that you just plummet down and you don't get the second move. What you rather would have seen here from silver to continue the move, though, I mean, this is a pretty good hint. This sell right here, pretty good hint that that's going to be hard to get through, right? Someone just rug pulled you. It's legal. That's pretty much it. It's just not a meme coin pushed by like one of the Paul brothers or something. No, it's just silver. It's just the market maker, the governments around the world, the highest in power doing it to you. So it's fine if that happens, you know. What you'd rather would have seen is you see these gaps. You really would have been like, okay, let's take care of two of those, little bit less velocity or speed to it. You come into this area and then you rotate to the upside. That would have been how you make a new high. But because of this huge sell here and because of the parabolicness, you're always at risk of seeing that. So I think gold's in the same boat, right? Huge sell coming in. So you're at risk of continuing to say what? Weekly pullback. Technically, you can still call this weekly pullback even for silver. You can say that this is most likely a weekly pullback right now, but because of the parabolic move, you have to consider that that could be the top. You have to consider that this could break through critical levels. It could break through here and say, oh, we're toast, right? Anywhere above this though, right? Move this up a little bit, like right about there. Anywhere above that, if you can come into this area, you can curl to the upside. There is a shot to test the high. That's key here. Notice I'm really putting out the accent for, or in, what is it? Inflection on test the high this time because it was a parabolic move. And then, but if you're able to curl up, it does suggest test the high or go make a new one. So what we can do for this is for like gold, we do put out monthly expected moves over on Patreon for gold. We put out weekly moves and we put daily expected moves for gold on Fridays. If you are someone who is trading gold, we don't do silver. Maybe we can add that in there because silver is doing crazy stuff, but we do have monthly, weekly expected moves. So what we can do is we can go over to gold and we can go look and say, okay, for this month, gold said 525, 68 was your monthly expected move. You didn't even get there. You actually didn't even get there, right? 510. So you still haven't gotten to that monthly expected move. Very, very interesting there is all I would say. So you're still within the range. Now, the lower side of that range is 441.82. So either this is a big surprise, right? 441.82. I'm just giving out this information. We're just going to mark it off somewhere in that area, right? Not going to pay attention too much to it, but that's where it is. That's your monthly move. What have you done with the monthly move? You have already like plummeted below it, meaning either you are seeing a low percentage update here, like some craziness that people didn't expect, or this is a trap, right? And as of right now, on the daily scale, you're not necessarily seeing anything that says this is a trap. But by the end of the month, you are 68% likely to end right up in there. All right, you can get that information on Patreon. We give it away every single month. Did the stream crash yet? Nope. Okay, we're good. I know. People saying audio cutting out. It's just the problem with the stream. I'm sorry if it's cutting out. Try to pay attention to the drawings. I am seeing a few people lose audio. I can't really fix it in real time or anything like that. And now on my end, it says it's perfectly fine. Okay. I'm glad it's coming in clear for most of you guys. I apologize if it's not coming in clear for everyone. I just want to keep shouting this out because I want you to come back and if you find this information helpful, see us do some things live. I think it's very helpful to do things live, to see it in real time. But yeah, if you're having audio issues and things like that, I do apologize. The system I'm using, everything I'm using will change over the next few months. And when we bring a live video back, we should have good functionality all around. I had to get a little stretch in. We got like 5 more minutes here. What else can we go look at today? What's your thank you, send volume, anyone else? How about AGQ? Hope your girl gets better soon. She's actually really happy. She's bubbly, happy baby girl. You know, she's only a month and a half old or so, almost 2 months old actually in about 5 days. But She's really happy, really fantastic, just not uh not the happiest every like 2 days. She's having trouble with her potty movements, let's put it that way. And it's really causing a lot of problems. So they suggested chiropractor. So we'll go see. Yeah, AGQ is pretty much going to follow silver. So AGQ, no, this isn't something I necessarily look at too much, but giving you the lower, right? What you'd look for is potential daily reaction here. So in order for silver to like reverse around AGQ in this case, which looks like this is extremely leveraged, by the way. So I never like to do analysis on the leveraged one. I like to do analysis on the actual like silver or actual gold. In order for this to come back though, based on this chart, is you'd have to start seeing things like this. You at least need to take this back to get some kind of uptrend, but on that uptrend, you'd really still look for lower highs, I believe. You'll see weekly chart as well, kind of same thing. So weekly chart, you just see this, man. That's a monster. That is a monster right there. If the weekly curls up, I always say this. I never leave it off the table and say test the high, go make a new one. It's just that is a lot of sellers to get through. So you'd kind of look for lower high, maybe divergence, right? We'll look for that, but I think you're more likely suited to look for lower high. And as of right now, you have nothing suggesting a lower high can come. Back crack that poop out. I had to go to the. I've had neck problems for about 7 months, too. I pulled my trap popped at the gym, like popped in my ear, popped, and I just had to drop away. I was like, oh, that's not good. Called my buddy up. He's a chiropractor. He was nice enough to see me, but man, this thing, my neck's been messed up for about 7 months, and I got sick of it, so I finally called him. Very nice. Using right now the daily and monthly move as support. We are going to see if we can head up towards 670.36. Live for today, Ben. We're live for a little bit. I'm gonna try. I don't hear them. I left the door open and stuff like that so I can hear if they come in. I don't hear them yet, so maybe we'll stay on a little bit longer. Oh man, dude, I kind of miss live video though. Live video is fun. You just get to talk about a bunch of people who like to look at stocks. That's great. Coffee break, coffee break. Hope baby lets you sleep at night. See, that's the problem. And that's kind of why we're taking her, is because she'll sleep, but it's like she grunts in pain through her sleep every other night. And we know the big thing is like, oh yeah, I want sleep, so I want to take her to the chiropractor. But the big thing is like, baby girl's not comfortable, right? But these babies, they are in a lot of pain like all the time. If level with silver, any move silver makes. Okay, so the silver analysis would be that's what I assumed. Pro shares. Yeah, I know, poor baby. But maybe today really helps her. I think she's going this morning. So our abuela is going to watch our 2-year-old. It's going to be fantastic. It's so fun to see them grow up. I can't wait to see the other one's personality. What do I think about Microsoft? Great question. So I liked Microsoft for a period of time here. All right, these curl ups, this curl up, this move, fantastic from your 30-minute, fantastic behavior for the new high. But once again, this is kind of what we'll look for a right shoulder, weirdly enough. 2-hour divergence at this high, or I'm sorry, 30-minute divergence there. I need to look at the daily chart. Daily roll, yeah. So daily roll with the 2-hour divergence is overall. And you notice the benefit to having the skills of understanding divergence and lower highs. That's a very, very big deal, because you're talking about a difference of getting out here versus getting out here. That's a big difference, right? Selling at the low versus using my 2-hour hints and getting out towards a high. So very nice. Microsoft here. What do we want to watch for? Daily divergence. You really want to watch for daily divergence here. You really do. Because if I'm not saying this can't happen, I'm not saying this can't happen. What I'm saying is if for whatever reason that wants to stop short and just do that, you have an extreme divergence here. You saw the first one that caused a bottom right there. You bounce. Oh, we're not done yet. We come down like this and you turn around. That's the what I like to call it, a bullish contrarian signal, suggesting that we're going to try to take back the price action. What do I mean by take back the price action? I mean you have a series of what? Lower high, lower low. You get a divergence to confirm. That's when the bulls are going to make an attempt to make a new high and then start to ride that 5-day up. So let's bring the 5-day back up right there. So you'll see this kind of go like, if we turn around here, and this will kind of curl like this and then mellow out, and then you'll probably see a reaction down to it to go further to the upside as you go into more of a positive trend. This means that if Microsoft confirms this, you're highly probable to see a weekly move to the upside. Now, that weekly move to the upside, based on the positioning of our MACD, we would look for lower high, right? Kind of the double top came in, you would look for a lower high. Where would you start to look for that? Probably around these areas. You see a weekly move like this, and it rolls. That's how you break these lows. Then we get what? Big counter move maybe, right? But that's not to say that counter move has to happen. You can literally, this is going to be a bad confirmation. If you do this and you curl down, you don't make like weekly divergence right here. Yeah, that can fall through the floor pretty fast. So it looks like Microsoft is still bearish with the daily being curled down like this. Do we have any 2-hour hints? No, you don't. The good part is you have a very obvious level to watch for. Right here, we'll just move this line up. This is a line that we found important, right? But overall, I think we can move that line for now and say, hey, the 2-hour needs to do what? It needs to do this, right? Take back that 5-day. Or we can do something like this. We reject, we fall short, everyone gets bearish, turns around with the 2-hour divergence. That's how it turns around. That doesn't mean it has to. Remember, this is risky. Even this up here can be risky. But this right here is probably the riskiest of seeing a bigger drop to the downside. But then once that confirmation of divergence happens, that's where like I would make decisions. Oh yeah, try to reset the stream. Just hit the refresh button. If sound's buggy. I apologize that the sound's buggy though. So Jose Rojas, I wonder if you're related to my soccer teammates from college, the Rojas brothers. Love those guys. That'd be so cool. Yeah, so that's how I see Microsoft right now. You need to see something like this to get a daily move to the upside. If it wants to be different than this time, not make a divergence, then I would look for that critical level of 404.54 be broken. Let's pull up, let's just look at weekly expected move for it. 395. I think 404 with this news, I think 404 would be on the table. Microsoft is doing all of this not at the monthly expected downside move, though. Now 368 for the weekly downside move. So if you don't see this, then you would look for reaction up to potentially fail. Come down into these type of areas. This week, that would be this week. You'd probably want to look at next week, though. Very nice. But yeah, that's what you'd look at. The divergence is kind of a way to be like, okay, if this confirms, how close is it to the center line? Well, much closer than before. The divergence is there. So that's when the bulls will attempt to take back that high, go into a positive trend. Very cool. You know, for the news, I know that most of the surprise happened in the pre-market. We already tagged the 95% line in the pre-market, but I think that this doesn't look like a big enough a reaction right away to tell us like, yeah, this is this right here, this is it, this is the bottom. You just don't know that yet. They want you to, you know, based on which way the rich people want this market to go, the top 10% that own 90% of the stock market, based on them, You don't know based on signals. You would say, man, we need this 2 hour move to hold. We need to take out this level. We need to really take out this level to be convinced, like, yeah, okay, all-time high is like not open the door. All-time high, we're starting to step through that door if we take back 684. And I would say we have to do that on this first 2 hour push, in my opinion. USD JPY, the thing about analyzing USD JPY, I think that's great. Like people do that. I've done it before on live video. I've done it before in my, videos and things like that. It's just the problem is, at least with displaying this information, like does that give you an extreme edge, right? Can it give many strategies an edge now? That's kind of the thing. Like, how do I get my edge right now? Oh, I'm going to look at USD JPY. It's like, okay, well, you'd have to tell me how your strategy includes that in some way. Maybe it's just how you're fishing for bottoms, right? Good to see everyone. That's right. Positive vibes in the chat, Yeah, I'm excited. I really want to bring back. Now, we might not be able to bring back live video every single day, but I'm planning on trying to do. I might set up a Patreon tier to keep it kind of concise, learning purposes. Like, hey, this is where we're going to really start to analyze things. We're going to talk about setups. We're going to talk about certain topics like your indicators, MACD. We'll talk about divergence and things like that. We'll talk about monthly moves, and then we'll do one. I think I'm going to try to do one free live show on Fridays, but I'm going to try to keep that as well. The problem with live video is there's a lot of distractions. People want to look at, a billion different stocks, especially when we had like 300 people on stream and stuff like that. People are just throwing out stocks, and I have ADHD. So if someone throws out a ticker, I usually look at it, and it was very distracting. So we might do like a $5 Fridays where if it's not on our list, you can always ask about our list, right? But if it's not on our list, then we'll do a $5 Friday for the free live show. And you can always ask first, right? I always say that. You can always ask first because I'll usually look at it, even if you don't, make it pop up on real big on the screen or anything like that. All right, looks good, guys. So overall, I might have to take off, but we have overall discussed, hey, the things over the weekend, are all of those thrown out the window because of Trump's post? No. Trump's post is a piece of data that you still want to look at as we start to make this move. Remember that the critical thing is, the scenarios are, do we roll right here? That's when the market becomes risky, especially on the 2 hour chart. So let's do this on the 2 hour. We'll sum it up at the end of this live video real quick. So in order for this market to really come back, right? Because if we stop short here and we roll, we can go make a new low. We'll watch out for divergence, right? We already know that. But how does this market build back? Well, one, it can take back this level this week and stay positive, right? If we're going to build back, we can stay positive by doing this. But the problem is if we make a divergence right around this level, then that would be really making us consider a daily roll, right? That is the daily lower high scenario. So even though the market can build back like this and go into a positive trend, it definitely can. If this is really a surprise, I think that to go to a new all-time high, you want to see a 99% to 100%, just like I said in my video, you want to see pretty much a full resolution to what's going on. How will I know that the full resolution is true? Right? Or at least the highest probability based on looking at charts that is true. You have to take back 684. In my opinion, you have to take back 684 with this first move and then be able to pull back to grab those buyers to head to a new all-time high. So if we're not getting a full resolution right now, we would still look for the problem to continue. We would look for the problem to set up some kind of trap up towards that 684 level. Lunar, you can check and you can email it to me and I'll review it. If you have that way you can send a longer statement. If you want me to review it, I'll review what you're thinking. Yeah, you can send that over. So as of right now, if you wanted to, I'm just going to suggest this again. If you're still like, hey, this move has changed everything, just go watch Saturday's video. Look at the 1, 2, 3. You're still in that area. You are still exactly where we were with our analysis over the weekend. We're in that exact same spot. You have not done enough here yet for us to suggest anything, right? We're still going to look for a 2-hour roll. We're still going to look for if we take out this high, and we're still going to look for if we take out this high, especially on the first push from the 2-hour. All of that will be a very, very big deal. And you can go review that video right now if you want it, like a 20-minute video where we're really talking about it. We review IWM, I believe, for a moment there, and we talk about volatility, because remember, volatility is still suggesting that this is the highest probable situation to occur here, right? Volatility can say what it wants right now, but then we'll update it, right? That's why we put out updates. That's why I'm on live video right now to discuss the reminder of what we talked about over the weekend, but also we will update this throughout the week, throughout next week, because if we make this move, then we're going to be saying, okay, maybe we prepare as the 68% zones below us for a pullback, right? But that pullback means I need to watch for that lower high, right? I need to potentially watch for 2-hour divergence. And we showed a couple of those. Thanks for bringing up Palantir. That was a great example. And then if we end up seeing this move, though, then you go, oh, I'm not going to be bullish right here. I'm going to maybe wait for that 30-minute or 2-hour pullback to come down into this area to kind of create some kind of good shape. That would be fantastic. And that's when you go, okay, if we break this high, we can go to a new all-time high if we hold trend, but I have to watch out for a right shoulder. If we break through this high in the first move like this, then we're very likely, the most probable thing is to go to a new all-time high. Simplifying the market like that, and then understanding, hey, we're just at this stage where if we roll early, we can see a new low this week. Those are all good things to remind yourself of today as you're getting a good gap up. And remember that your 95% line for you day traders out there, 665.26, a great take profit if you are a day trader out there. All right, guys. Hey, thank you for joining the live stream. Really do appreciate it. Once again, if you're joining late or anything like that, review Saturday's video. You can review parts of this live stream. We got into a lot of the review of the weekend very early on, about 3 minutes into the stream, if you want to go check it out. But thank you guys for watching today. I'm going to go help with baby girl. We're going to take her to the chiropractor and everything's going to be great. And I'm going to try to just keep popping on the live show when I do have time, but understand by subscribing and turning those notifications on, we will have live streams coming out most likely this summer. It will most likely be heavily geared towards Patreon, but we will have at least one free live show throughout the week where you can come ask questions. Okay, I don't want to leave regular people out, non-Patreon members out of it. I really think it's great to be able to get this information live. So I think that's fantastic. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you later. Peace out.